to be first on the agenda, so it's on the agenda. We'll have Rob install the officers ready.
It is my honor to install the officers who will serve the New Jersey Alumni Chapter for the next 2-year period. As each of you take the oath of office, you are also confirming that you will be responsible for other duties as may be requested by the New Jersey Alumni Chapter. Will the incoming officers please come forward as I call your name? Incoming President, Clifford Holmes. Incoming Vice President, Jackie McDonald. Jackie's not here with us. Incoming Treasurer, Marvin Walton. And incoming Secretary, Gerald Austin. These individuals have expressed their willingness to devote themselves to the faithful fulfillment of the obligations and responsibilities of their respective offices. I will now ask that each of them confirm their dedication to this service. Turn to the officers. Please know that the responsibility for leading the New Jersey Alumni Chapter carries a great and honorable challenge. The mere fact that your fellow Aggies voted for you means that they respect the qualities that you will bring to these roles. In accepting this responsibility, do you pledge to fulfill the duties of your respective positions as outlined in the Constitution and bylaws to the best of your ability? Please say I do.
I do.
Do you agree to uphold policies, goals, and ideals of the Alumni Association, the New Jersey Alumni Chapter, and our alma mater, North Carolina A&T State University? Please say I do.
I do.
Do you pledge to show and demonstrate your Aggie pride financially, socially, intellectually, and spiritually? Please say I do.
I do.
Do you pledge to spread and share that good old Aggie spirit wherever you may be? Please say I do.
I do.
I therefore hereby proclaim you as the new officers of the New Jersey Alumni Chapter of North Carolina A&T State University Alumni Association, Incorporated. It is with sincere appreciation that we acknowledge your service and dedication to Aggies residing in the state of New Jersey. We now look to you for leadership and as a source of strength for the New Jersey Alumni Chapter, as well as the Alumni Association. Now to the audience. Now will the members of, and if there are any representatives of North Carolina A&T State University Alumni Association, please stand. Please stand. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Our new leaders need your cooperation and support during the next term. They have a right to expect assistance in the tasks that they will be undertaking. Do you promise to give them your cooperation, tolerance, and support? Please say I do.
I do.
Congratulations to the new officers of the New Jersey Alumni Chapter.
Okay, thank you, Rob, for swearing us in for the installation of officers. I'd just like to say welcome to everybody. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here as we set the stage for the upcoming year. one of the things that Rob had mentioned in an email that he had sent out to everyone is that with the new officers in place, we're only going to be as effective as the support that we get. We can't do this alone. It's really everybody's participation. And the more people that participate, the easier it is, where it doesn't become a burden to those that are in the leadership positions, those that are chairs of the standing committees. The more people we have involved, the more people we have helping out, the easier it is. Because I look at these positions, these are all volunteer positions. No one's getting paid for these. It's basically taking time out of your schedule to help out. And I look at it as they asked me to be the interim president back in October. I was like, hey, my plate is full. I have, I got tutoring, I got the new horizons, I got this and that. I said, I'll do it for the interim, but, I'm really busy. And so, after sitting in the position for some time, and really just thinking about the people like Rob, who's been doing this over 20 years, I think I'm obligated to do that sacrifice, if you want to call it that, because not just him, but there's been so many others that actually kept this chapter alive for over 30-something years. There's been chapters as part of A&T Alumni Association that are no longer in existence. Someone has been really keeping this chapter alive over 30, 40 years of sacrificing their time. And I could just guess that everybody that was helping out back then, they had a full plate too. Because I'll guarantee you everybody around this table has a full plate. And so it's just a sacrifice that you do for whatever the cause may be. And this cause is to our university, to make a presence in the state of New Jersey for North Carolina A&T State University. So I said I'm obligated to do this. We're sacrificing our time based upon others who also sacrifice their time. It's time for us to step forward. So and I appreciate the team for running along with me, because I definitely cannot do this alone. And appreciate everybody's support online, those that are not here. We're actually going to have to do this together in order to be successful. I just wanted to mention up front that we're streamlining, and the meetings are live. And Cheryl, can you tell how many people are on board?
Let me see if I see any yet. I don't see any yet, but that doesn't mean that there aren't some up there. But
so we're using technology to reach out, because our chapter.
somebody just popped up that fast.
Because the chapter is a state. We have, it's an advantage and a disadvantage. The disadvantage is that you're trying to cover the whole region, the whole state, to connect with Aggies north to south, and that's a good range of distance. But the good part is, to me, it's opportunities. It's opportunities to network with, I think we have close to 1,000 alumni in the state of New Jersey right now. And so by having 1,000 alumni, you have the opportunity to really do something great here. And so I look at both of them as opportunities. We have it structured now where we can go to the different regions. Leon so boldly stepped out and started the first regional meeting last month. And so with that, first of all, I'd like to thank you for that again. When you're starting something new, there's always going to be areas of improvement. We identified some things that we can do to improve upon. Originally, the plan was to meet in July, where, you know, June, July, and maybe take all August off. But I said it's probably better to just really to plan things out, really strategically plan things out, and then start back up in September. So what I'm going to be doing is during the summer months, coordinating with the executive committee to really strategically plan out how these meetings are going to go, what the format of the meeting is going to be, all different types of, we'll have everybody's schedule in place by the time September comes for all of the different regions. So we'll know in September where we're going to meet in September, October, November, and December, and plan that out where we're going to be at, the location, what type of format or structure it's going to be. I don't want these meetings to be structured like it is today, where I'm just sitting up here lecturing. We want everybody to get involved, and we want it to be more of a social atmosphere. You can spend, you know, some time at the meeting, you know, getting out information, be informative, but I like it to be a networking type of activity, social type activity, like we had at Leon's. We had a structured meeting, but then we had time to go out and eat a little. I don't want it to be just totally rigid where we have a meeting and just meet. For some reason, it seems like people will probably be more apt to come out to the meetings if you have some type of social event going on with it. And that's one of the incentives, to get everybody to network with one another. Some people don't even realize classmates that you went to school with live in the state and don't even realize it. So it'd be a good opportunity to acquaint yourself with friends that you went to school with. Or people maybe in the same profession. I look at it as an opportunity to network with one another. So that's going to be the plan. At least that's what the vision is right now. I'm going to let Marvin jump in and give us the financial report real quick.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. You have before you the monthly financial report, which is a statement of receipts and disbursements for period ending June 10, 2015. Balance forward as of June 10th was $5,247.50. And really that should read as of May 8th. As of May 8th, 2015, the balance was $5,247.50. For the month, we've had one disbursement on June 5th. A check cleared in the amount of $161.26. And this was check number 152, reimbursing Mr. Leon Crawford, the regional director or lead for Region 4's meeting expenses. As of June 10th, the ending balance is $5,086.24. As below is showing you the average daily balance for the month, as well as the minimum balance for the month. That concludes the treasurer's report. Are there any questions? There being no questions, I move that we accept the treasurer's report for information.
Second motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion moved.
Thank you.
Okay, the next area we're going to talk about is any correspondence that we've had from the National Alumni Association of the University. One thing at the last meeting I announced was that we were nominated as the Small Alumni Chapter of the Year by the National Alumni Association to the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. Marvin just informed me that we probably won't know if we won that nomination until prior to September.
Yeah, you'll be notified prior to the actual event that they have. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah, but the event is in September, so my guess is we'll probably know if we won prior to that, maybe a month before. So probably know all of this stuff. I'll keep you guys posted on that. For those that still want to donate to the annual funding campaign for FY15, it actually closes June the 30th. So if you didn't weren't financially made any financial contributions in FY15, you have up until the 30th of this month. The new fiscal year starts July 1st of this year. So that's when we start our new campaign. Only correspondence I received from the school, and I think Joe put it on Facebook, was the demolition of the student union. That was I was down there when they were knocked down. We actually called a part of it the new student union because when I was there, the only part they had was that center part that we called the old student union. But they're knocking everything down.
The whole thing's
The whole thing, even the new part that we call new. So, but if you look to the website, the alumni website, or even I think we have it on our NJ
Aggie Alumni.
AggieAlumni.org. We have it on our site here what the new facility is going to look like, and it looks pretty awesome. So.
More than that, I would say. I believe it's a $60 million project, and it's the largest project that the school has. What's that?
2018.
I think it might be 17. I think it might be 17. But if you go to, let's see, I'm on the page right now. I can tell you the architectural firm. When you go on their page, it's the thing on the cover of their site. You know, it's the first thing that pops up there. Yes, I can tell you right now. It is. I've been posting stuff. Vines Architecture, and again, if you go, Vines. So if you go to that site, our student center, the plans are the first thing that you see. It's quite beautiful.
Very impressive.
And just as a comment, I saw, when I looked at the plans, I kind of saw that there was some incorporation of the way the old student union looked a little bit. Just a slight hint to it on the outside. When you look at some of the windows, it does kind of look like a portion of the old student union, even though it looks completely different. There's like a little nod to it, I think. So it's pretty interesting.
If I can give you guys this report here. I mean, save the date for the 30th annual Alumni Hall of Fame weekend, and this is the Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. It's September 23rd through the 27th. And where they have a Legacy of Leaders Awards luncheon on that Saturday. I think it's that Saturday, yes. Saturday is a luncheon, and that's when they will make the award to you if you're coming. They ask that, if you win, that someone from your chapter be there to accept the award. So my assumption would be sometime in September they will notify us of the receipt.
And Marvin, just to carry that forward, if this chapter was to win, do you know if the national officers would pay for the leadership, at least Clifford, to go to wherever the event is?
I tell you what,
No.
I mean,
Or would it be on the chapter?
it would be on the chapter, I do believe.
It would be on the chapter.
We had a couple of to be nominated, but we had a representative from the board, like our past national president won the award, and the National Alumni Association covered the cost of her going down to receive the award. So I'm sure they'll probably push this down to the local chapter, that the local chapter, whoever the representative goes down, would be reimbursed from the local chapter's trip, as opposed to the National Alumni Association. my thoughts, but, you know, we can put a request in. and see what
Yeah, I
happens.
think we should at least, put a request in. If we,
Request is, yeah.
if they ask, if they submit an hour,
Exactly. I hear you. I hear
you
you.
know, so.
I mean, nothing beats a try. But the try, right?
This is the radio station. Maybe you're doing a radio station too,
I think so, yeah.
huh? Yeah.
Okay, the next topic that I'm gonna talk about is strategic planning and the executive committee. This area is where over the summer, I wanna work with the executive committee to do the strategic planning. And when I say strategic planning, the presidents had a meeting last month, and with all of the chapter presidents, the National Alumni Association had a meeting, teleconference with all of the presidents from the different chapters. And one of the things that they're doing is they're strategically planning, they call it the 1-3-5, which is they want all of the chapters to have a 1-year plan, strategic plan in place, a 3-year strategic plan in place, and then a 5-year strategic plan in place. They had some very young, innovative Aggie alumni that's from the class, I believe, of 2010. And don't quote me on this, but I think they from the San Diego chapter, or I forget what the other chapter was, but they created a template that's very extensive. And it looks like they put a lot of thought into that template on different types of goals and objectives that you can put in place. And it's very, I think majority of it, we can actually tailor to our chapter. There may be a few other things that we want to do that's slightly different. But a lot of the goals and objectives that they had in that template can apply to different chapters. So that will be more of a something that we could use as a guide to put some objectives and goals in place for the chapter. And then the actual planning committee, and they have something that they could target to plan the events from. So one of the things I know for sure in our state is when you engage with high school students, at least from the college fairs that I went to, and just being in different parts of the state, engaging with high school students, a lot of them have not heard of North Carolina A&T. And even the last college fair that Rob and that we were at up in, what was that, East Orange? Some of the students walking up to the table said they never heard of it. And so I'm saying, one of the goals, strategic goals, is try to market ourselves, and how do we go about engaging students to become aware of North Carolina A&T State University. One of the programs that I was in, New Horizons College Club, back in October, a young man came to our program. He was new, and he said he wanted information engineering. So I was asking him what college he was looking at. So he named all of these different colleges, some HBCU, some predominantly white universities, and he didn't mention North Carolina A&T. Now he's majoring in engineering, and he didn't even mention it. So I asked him, I said, did you ever hear of North Carolina A&T? And he said, no. So I said, do some research on it. So you want to be an engineer, do some research and come back and talk to me next week. And so he did that. He came back and talked to me. Make a long story short, he's got accepted into A&T. He will be a student at A&T this fall. Very sharp young man. So, if you don't know about the school,
I don't want to go there.
You know, kids in this state, when you ask them what schools they want to go to, they'll name the Howards, they'll name the Hampton, they'll name Morgan State. Some of them go a little further and start talking about Spelman and Morehouse, Florida A&M, but they don't know A&T. So we can strategically plan over the next 2 years how we're going to at least get kids to know about North Carolina A&T. It is, I'm not going to, I'll leave that up to the planning committee. I just had some ideas on things that we could do. I think just in general, participating in the college fairs at these high schools, when we request, we'll get a request from the university to participate in this. That's the opportunity to let students know who we are. Even being involved in community activities, you know, these volunteer type things. That's another way of letting people know who you are. I've even thought of things that, you know, and I don't know how we could do it with a chapter, but even taking students from high schools in New Jersey on a college tour, campus tour down to A&T, that would take some work because we don't have insurance and stuff like that, which you need when you go on college tours. But somehow maybe we can do it with another organization that has you know, insurance or whatever. There's other, I know there's sororities, fraternities that don't Deltas and maybe in this New Brunswick area. They've taken students down to A&T because I ran into it when I brought some students down here from the program that I work with. So, and every time I've taken kids from New Jersey to A&T, you get a lot of kids that get interested in it. Never heard of it except through me, but you get a lot of kids that end up going here.
There's a program that I'm working with. It's called Promoting Academic Careers in Engineering, and it works with high school students on the 12th grade. And they do a college tour every year. They go to HBCUs. They do mostly go to the Maryland, D.C. area. But I think we could probably, if you're interested, you know, I can put you in touch with that president. And maybe expanding it to include North Carolina A&T, because I know they do definitely want to start getting the students interested in HBCUs as well.
What's the phone promoting?
It's PACE, Promoting Academic Careers in Engineering. And it's a program that's done on Saturday mornings at Brookdale.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I think Rutgers.
Rutgers used to have a branch, but that one kind of died down. And so the one that I'm involved with is the one that's supposed to do the short area.
Rutgers does have something,
Used to have it.
I'm sorry, in the spring where they invite students in for the weekend. And
Yeah.
my son participated in it, so to
Okay.
get them interested in.
I did that as well.
Major, yeah.
Okay.
The one that we do, it's year round. So we do, we have scheduled breaks for like the fall and things like that, but we're off on hiatus now until the September timeframe. But it starts with students that are in 9th grade, and we take them through thematic and focused areas for engineering and math and science. It also includes presentation skills and things like that, engineering fundamentals or engineering leadership. So it's broken down into 2 sessions, a morning and afternoon session. But there's also other tours that we go on throughout the year as well. Like they went to the museum in New York this year, and to the Science Museum upstate New York. But so it's a comprehensive kind of program that they do that does include college.
I'll talk on this on the point that she made in terms of looking at what's happening right now. Because in Franklin Township area in central Jersey, some of you may not remember Malcolm Bernard, but Malcolm started a college tour probably 25 years ago.
Did you mean the college fair?
Yes, college fair.
The college fair.
For the fans, but also they take trips. And Barbara, his wife, still organizes that annually. Yeah, I think the key thing is just make sure the A&T is on those trips.
I know there is a HBCU bus trip,
There it
and it goes around to a lot of schools.
There's a couple
But
of high
some of
schools
us
that they
would-
that sort of, because I know my sister-in-law works at, sister-in-law, I think, And she went on a college tour last year with some of the HBCUs and some of the students. So it's done in pockets, but, and there's plenty of organizations that we can link up with.
My son just came back from one yesterday, but it only went to Howard, Georgetown, and Hampton. So they went, you might want a partnership with, Reverend Joe Carter at New Hope. If you look for somebody that give you like insurance coverage or whatever, because the trip was through New Hope. At the church in Newark. Also, you might want to, I can reach out to, some of my Shrine brothers that got contact, because they also do a bus tour. But it never goes that far down. You know, it never goes, so it might be something you can talk to them about expanding it. And maybe making some kind of contribution to what they've already got that will allow them to go that far.
I know.
That goes, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
You know, the one that I know, it goes down that far. It's usually always around the spring break.
Right.
So, because it's like several days that they're on the bus.
You're talking about the one that goes down, they go all the way down to Atlanta.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
I'm not sure if they're still in those done by the Shrine Bar out of New Brunswick, or the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Parade. Right. They had one every year, and it went all the way down to Florida.
I think there's I can't remember if she's a helper or AKA, but she runs a Young Scholars Institute. I think she runs one as well. Jerry Moore. Get information on her. That's a great locals doing spring work as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna
As far
say.
as college spirit is concerned, my sons are going to, North Collegiate Academy. They'll be freshmen. My daughter graduated from the last year, but they do a college fair there too, and they have everybody in that college fair. It's right down North Street in North.
Oh.
So they're Syracuse, so. Syracuse.
Yeah, my daughter went to Syracuse. Syracuse gave that money.
But, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's that area, I'll jump down into that when we start talking about, increasing membership and donations, but, these are the type of things that we want to do to get people to know who we are, so, there's all different types of ideas that we can think of, for people to get to know who we are. To me, it's just getting the name out there. I guess people in the further south from our state, maybe have a better knowledge of AT. DC and Maryland, they all know AT, just like the folks up here know about Morgan and Howard. So, and I don't know why that is.
I think it's different. I think enough people, we just don't run into it all the time. I see A&T stuff all the time. I see Morgan, I see Howard, I see.
Don't get me wrong, I mean, the people that went to A&T, or when you talk about high school students,
Well, yeah.
knowing about, A&T. Matter of fact, when I was in high school, I never heard of A&T. My senior year, the guy that this program I was running, New Horizons College Club, I was in that program, and he asked me, well, what type of school are you looking for? I said, I want to go to the HBCU, I want to be somewhere near Virginia, because I had relatives from Virginia. So he said, well, there's a really good school, but it's not in Virginia, it's in North Carolina that has a good engineering program, and that's when he told me about A&T. And so it's just making yourself known that could make a difference of giving an exceptional young man or young woman to matriculate there. And so those, we want to get the best and the brightest, but if they don't know about us, then you'll never get that opportunity.
I was, my youngest son graduated from high school on Monday, North Brunswick High, and I'm looking through the whole list of where these kids are going to school. 2 kids going to HBCU, my son Hampton and a young lady in Morgan. So it's just like, I mean, and I know it's been more in past years, but this 215, this is pretty sad that a lot of our students Middlesex Community College or Rutgers, or, I mean, a lot of good schools, but we're just not represented, so we're not represented. So obviously counselors are not, it's not there, you know, it's not there to push our schools.
When I was in high school, my God, it's not because it's sweet. Me, I said, what was this right here? That was but she was black lady. Yeah.
That's what they are into.
Yeah.
They're into that school right now.
So, I mean, but these are some of the challenges, I think, that a lot of the HBCUs are going through that anyway. Just in general, you're competing with the, you know, dominant white universities, which are athletes, for money. For the, you know, right. So, but we have to, I think that's the thing that we alumni can do is try to promote it, do things that we can to let people be aware of it. It's a beautiful school. It's, you know, when you go to the campus, it's awesome. I mean, I look at it when I was a freshman to now, it's up in Paris. So they do have one of the most beautiful campuses. You know, definitely for HBCU. And even comparable to some of the nice non-white institutions.
Just to follow with this conversation, one of the unfortunate demises of HBCUs today is the ever decreasing enrollment. That's what South Carolina State is facing. That's what Elizabeth City is facing. Grambling, Southern University, all of these great HBCUs, really, it's because of that decreasing enrollment. South Carolina State's enrollment is, when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. It just dropped so much. Well, that was some person in South Carolina and said, yeah, he threw it on the table. You know, that's considered closing. It's pretty sad. But I also wanted to add that there's an indirect member of the chapter, Ed Murray, whose son goes to AIT. Ed Murray, I think he's a Jew, and Q was a New York City sponsor a college trip every summer. And I think AIT is on the tour, or maybe it's on the tour every other year or something like that. But Ed Murray would be a real good source, you know, just to get some information on.
Right. Sounds good. So it sounds like, you know, we have a lot of contacts and resources that can definitely maybe we can get in touch with too, or connect with who join that thing. It's on college and like I said, exposure. I think being on that campus alone on the trips, kids get excited just being on the campus. So we have a lot to offer too. So, but anyway, so that's one of the things that the planning and development committee has still to look at, or look into, and see what the possibility is of that happening. So, all right, moving along. Regional meeting, monthly meetings, I already covered that. I actually jumped the gun on that one. But, Gerald, I mean, these are the things that we got to look at, locations. I think contacting people by phone in those regions is the best way you're going to get a response. If you don't contact, this is just my personal opinion, if you don't contact people, call them verbally, you're going to get less of a turnout, I think. But I think whoever the regional rep is, whatever region we're in, and like I said, over the summer we'll be planning this out. If you need help contacting people in the region, I think it's enough of us to share the calling responsibilities. Contact people, call verbally. it's, you shoot out just an email, or if they don't know about the social media, they may or may not get that message. I know I get so much junk mail on my emails, it's hard for me to decipher between, what's something I should respond to or just hit the delete button as junk mail. So sometimes I've accidentally deleted something that wasn't junk mail, so.
I mean, texting is also a good way. If we get the person's cell phone number, it becomes kind of personal.
Right.
With them, if they're willing to give you their cell phone number where you get them, most people look at those texts. They read those. I mean, in the lodge, that's the way I do everything. They get there all kinds of ways. Email, text, phone call, you get all three. So nobody can say, well, I didn't know that. You got it somewhere. You got it somewhere.
And that brings me back to the point, we do have a database, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if that information is garnered, then it should be funneled back to the keeper of the database.
Mm-hmm.
And that way we can have a centralized database so that, maybe every so often, maybe every 2 or 3 months, the information is refreshed by the person that's responsible for the database.
Okay, you mean as far as updating it and.
Right, because we shouldn't, like if I'm in Region 4 and I have 200 and so members based on the database, that I receive, that information should go back up. Because I'm working hard and I'm getting updated information.
Right.
It still needs to be centralized. But that's just my thought.
No, that's a good point.
We really don't, I mean, we haven't designated anybody, I think, Rob, we pretty much been doing it.
Yeah, I think it was just, a carryover.
Right, but, and I don't.
It'd be nice to have somebody do
I
that.
mean, I don't have a
Right.
problem in updating.
Right now,
It's just,
Okay.
but you got that from national, right? And I
uh,
don't
partly,
think they're gonna,
right, partly from national, partly from our own records. and-
yeah, I'm just thinking that, headquarters is not gonna be wanting to give everybody.
No, I mean,
Oh, no, they don't.
they don't, I mean, they've given us one, and like I think I told you guys, we just have to do the disclaimer that you can't use it to solicit personal
Right.
stuff and put it on a mailing list to mail, your
Right.
business that you want to notify folks. So as long as we're not doing that, they're fine with it. But I think I was just taking what you said a little further in that, we have a point of contact at the local chapter, because what they do, what they ask us to do is once you get the information, if there are updates, send it in to us so we can update our database. And that's something that we don't do. Well, I'm not aware that we do it, but if we do it, it's a good thing, because then it's a win-win. We get the correct information and the university gets the correct information. So they do ask that we do that from time to time, mail in updates. And, sometimes you'll find that those areas who leave A&T, they never update their addresses, and then they move to your state, and then when you get it, I mean, they won't show on your list, but if you know that they're there and they're on the list that the university sends, then you can send it to the university, hey, we got a new address. They would gladly take it and reach out to the person, because they want folks to give it. So I think it's a good idea. So are you volunteering your services for that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it,
Okay.
since I have, on my computer, the list of.
Yeah. So then the regionals, yeah, so then, I mean,
And am I the only one that you shared it with the past 60 days?
No, I think I've shared it with the other.
Executive board?
Yeah, directors, not the
Oh,
regional directors.
Oh, you haven't shared it with the regional?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you have, okay, good. So y'all have it.
So, like when I did the barbecue blast and whatnot, I know, I was getting some replies and I've gotten some, I need to go back to it because I should update it, because there were some responses where, members did say, I no longer live in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Which I've gotten two in the last week, in the last event. But that was basically information that I had received from the university. So the university had old information Then I had to,
Right.
database.
And I didn't respond either to ask them, okay, well, what's your current mailing address? The email works, they're reading that works.
So Rob, is it okay if we have, either people that we run into that have given us, the information, to send it to you?
Sure.
I would suggest that when you sent out you sent it out to everyone, so if you got
Yeah,
any
but
back that's
everyone-
negative, I mean, any back that are not deliverables, let Rob know which ones those
Yes.
are.
Yes, I've been meaning to discuss that.
Right, and that way we can try to get it more accurate, for the future, especially if, September time period.
Right, I'm thinking that, because of the application that we use, it might have been some quirks in that, because it was really simple where it only wanted to accept 2 columns. One was the email, and you did whether it was the first or last name.
Oh, you're talking about for your invite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, 2 columns.
They also have this thing called a calling phone. Where you put one message in, you put all the numbers in, and it rings out to everybody's phone. If they don't pick it up, they will leave a message with the calling phone, with your message on it.
Yeah, we use it.
They use that too?
Yes. Well, I think we got the chance, we were a little late doing it for this meeting. When we do it.
I don't know how, I'm assuming we probably still have to send that out because there's some alumni that are not on social media or not, through emails, I don't know. Because I don't know how effective calling folks actually is. I mean, we're spending, what, $60? $60,
Yeah, for 500 phone calls.
for 500 phone calls. So,
Now, it leaves me a message, I like it. I like it, I just wonder, what others are, how other folks feel about it.
yeah.
Because remember, I know I've said this several times, I'm into the postcard stuff, and I think I mentioned that before, and I even volunteered to even do it. I mean, again, you got to pay 34 cents. But my thoughts with that piece was once we do our strategic planning and we know what we're doing for the rest of the year, and we got vacations and dates and times, then we could blast the postcard out. One postcard with all 4 meeting days. Or if you want to, we can do it per meeting. Anyway, I don't think you can exhaust, $60, I think is a decent investment for making a phone call, so we can't make them. Take this forever. So, some may feel that, I still think it hits some people, and they get it, and if they want to come to the meeting, they're gonna come.
You said one time you came based upon the calling folks, right?
Yeah, I mean, it comes, but it's getting a little infrequent now, but, yeah.
They look forward. So you messed it this morning, right? Because I remember the area code too. I'm like, okay, I got a message. I know what this is. It's like 47 or some number that's not you. It's like, hold on.
So I think even with the executive committee, what I want to do is, we're looking at improvements for one and efficiency. So whatever we do, whatever processes we do, I like to make it more efficient. If that still works, then we'll continue with it. If there's another way to do it that's better, we'll look into it. But I just like to at least look at, and I don't know if that's the engineer.
That's the engineer.
Just like to look for ways to improve or, but, those are things that we can discuss over the summer, trying to come up with the most effective way to communicate or announce the meetings, the monthly meetings. Those are things that we discuss, so. Next topic is the planning and development. One of the things we actually are ongoing right now, we didn't really have time to do a fundraiser this year. We've always had the jazz brunch as a fundraiser to give out 4 scholarships to $1,000 scholarships to students that live in New Jersey that attend AET, normally a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. So we really didn't have that big fundraiser that really supports giving out those scholarships. So what we thought about, it was either 2 2 meetings to this thing called, what we call the 10 originally, but Gerald, can you just give us a little quick synopsis over the Aggie Tag 10?
Sure.
This is just a form that we're going to use in place of a fundraiser to support these scholarships. We still want to give these scholarships out, but we were trying to figure out a quick way to go about doing that. And, hopefully, this vehicle will be something that we can do.
Okay. So the Aggie Tag 10 campaign basically is an opportunity for you to contact people that you know, anyone, to donate $10. And they can do it online and just donate the $10 to our scholarship fund. We're going to try to raise the amount for our $4,000 scholarships, one for each class. And basically all they would have to do, if they go to our website, and you can send out an email. I'm gonna actually send out a blast this week, kind of summarizing this meeting and what the things that we talked about, the main things. But this will be the first time that I'm actually going to put it out to the alumni as a whole. Yeah. So yeah, the big anybody gets. So we're actually going to send one out, and it's going to have the instructions. It's very simple. You go to our website. There's an image to click, and it's prominent on the page. And basically, it takes you right to PayPal, and it says donate $10. And so you do it, and then you tag 10 people, and then you ask them to tag 10 people, and so on and so forth. And hopefully that we can just, $10 isn't a whole lot. I feel like it's a reasonable number to ask someone to do, and it'll allow us to give these scholarships to these young people, and the better it spreads, the better we'll do. Did you want to say anything else?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I think was Florida A&M.
Yes.
We saw Florida A&M had did this in the past, and they generated like $140,000. I don't know what time period that was done over, but my guess is that you could $140,000 just by doing 10 for 10. But that's a tool that we should be able to use to get $4,000.
Do we have a sort of a write-up or a paragraph, some type of graphic that we can use when we send out emails?
Well, that's when I send out this next email blast, because we set it up and we just kind of put it on the website, but we didn't blast it out because we were waiting to make sure everything. Actually, did we contact and get?
I contacted the University Alumni Association. They said they would look at it and get back to me.
Who's you talking? Are you talking? Which?
They wanted to bless it.
Oh, you did talk to Chris. Okay, good. So she hasn't gotten back to you?
Nah, I'll
Just shoot her an email. I mean, with him trying to be in compliance.
Right. So that was basically why we didn't blast it out.
I would say.
Yeah, but again, we want to make sure we do our due diligence and make sure we're following guidelines. As we
reached out and now they're
right.
So
yeah, and I don't
think so either, because it's not the thing we've done our due diligence. We reached out and for the school.
Yeah. So basically, I'm gonna send out, like you said, just some quick instructions. It's not gonna be complicated. Just, hey, could you give $10 and tag 10 people to give $10 to support some students at our alma mater, and just keep it as simple as that. And I think it can be successful. I mean, there's proof that it can be successful. So yeah,
and
that
should state, what our overall goal is.
I'll put the.
Give out a scholarship for a student in New Jersey.
Yes.
So Gerald, when they do that, fees are in there. So are they going to take the fees off of the 10?
No,
or do you bump it up and do more than 10 to cover the fees?
No, when we talked about it, we actually did discuss that specific thing, and we eat the fee. So but the fee is about 50 cents or so.
It's 2.2% plus 30 cents.
Right.
Well, did we designate ourselves as nonprofit, if you don't,
Yes.
it's 2 point.
It's 2.9, I think, then.
2.9%.
Yeah.
No, but the designation is easy because we just send
Right.
some documents in.
Right.
That's international. So we've done that?
Have we designated as ourselves as
As
nonprofit? I'll check the PayPal and make sure, but I believe it was set up that way. I believe that was set up
Okay,
from the
because They
beginning.
will request 2 or 3 documents from you. If you do that, if not, then they'll get 30, what's that, $3? It's 2.9% plus 30 cents.
Right.
That's what they're gonna take off. So if they do.
Yeah, so it would be like 50 cents.
2.2% is what, 20, huh?
2.9%
Of $10. And they will
About
take it.
$3. That's
That's 30%.
Sorry.
So he's right. It's like 30 cents plus.
30 cents plus 20 cents. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So,
So about 50 cents, I think, what you're saying.
right,
Just bear
And
that
that's-
in mind
yeah.
as you do it.
absolutely. And so that's the cost of doing business. That's the
But I'd rather
PayPal.
be the 2.2% than not.
Oh, yeah, I mean, especially as that adds up, absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
and they will take it. 'Cause
oh, yeah, absolutely.
it's
but-
like home with the person paying.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have it. They
but-
go the process.
But the thought process in that was, we're asking for $10. We like it to be flat $10. Because you said, you asked for $10 and then it's $10.50. Well, now, now we're doing extra.
So it's just short, less.
Yeah, so short and sweet. But yeah, I'll have an explanation and then maybe just have something that you can just forward this. Yes, that's all. Yeah. That you can just copy and paste this and send it out. And you could do it on social media. There's a hashtag, Aggie Tag 10, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll have a brief synopsis of all that.
And it clearly says New Jersey alumni, right?
What's that?
With the Aggie Tag 10. It's not like.
No, well, it goes directly to our site. That's the way you have to go to
I
get.
mean, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Because no more folks that, okay, they're using Aggie Tag 10 and it's trying, they're not specifying this. Well, it's for New Jersey, not for, not like,
Right,
not scholars,
right.
not like DC chapters. but
Yeah, actually, on the website, again, if you
it
go,
takes them to our website.
it goes to our, you have to click on our website to actually use it. And it says donate $10 fund to the fundraising campaign for our NEAT scholarship specifically.
All right. The only thing is, and Rob, the NEAT scholarships, raising that here, but I think, is it the end of July
August 15th.
or August 15th? is when we
If
designate
we were going to give out a scholarship, the university would have to know on or before August 15th. If we were going to give out a scholarship.
So I guess we could put a time period in there. We don't do it until the 15th.
So then, I mean, just as some housekeeping stuff, then it sounds like we're gonna move forward with giving a scholarship. If that's the case, then Ray needs to put out the application, which I don't think.
Well, it's on our site for one.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're pushing it, because again, I thought last meeting, I brought this up. that someone-
For this, I mean, that's actually what we're saying.
Can you actually?
Yeah, we'll put that on. Oh, is the deadline on the application? Yes.
Okay.
So we should have something correspondence.
For the scholarship? Yes, yes.
How he, I've seen some.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you meant.
Emails inquiring about it. I got a couple of emails that-
Okay, so we are going to give out scholarships this year. Okay.
So,
I'm not
but,
supporting that.
as long as we're successful in the, raising the money.
I mean, we have $5,000.
That's what I'm saying, we have that. But, we don't want to.
We're not supposed to.
It's all I want to go to.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's there.
I mean, our operating funds is not really that.
It's not that
I
much.
mean,
Not $5,000.
it's not that much. So, I mean,
You're gonna collect some money today.
right.
We would like to, right?
I said we're gonna give out scholarships. We do have money, but, we wanna leave some for operating expenses. The only thing is,
The ball,
Right.
with something big for next year.
when you wanna have events, you gotta have deposits down for places, and that's where you're gonna need some upfront money. But As I move into the next area, we'll talk about ways to get money also.
Can I ask you something? Are you limited to just the tag team? To raise the money? Anybody familiar with GoFundMe?
Yeah, that's something similar.
Another one,
This is the very simple. The GoFundMe.
You can raise
is,
money in a short period of time.
well, it's the same concept.
Same concept.
Yeah.
Same concept.
GoFundMe is, you put out a specific, what do you want to raise it for, and you just donate whatever you want. Here, the only difference here is we're just saying, all you need to do is donate $10, and then you recommend to other people to donate. You challenge people.
Because it doesn't GoFundMe go through PayPal too?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same
Same
concept.
concept.
But anyway, so that's, I think, even if we get half of that, we'll still give us some scholarships.
And just as something Cliff had mentioned, we're gonna put a thermometer as the donations come in to let people know where we are with the goal.
That's what they do with GoFundMe. You know? I mean, if you say somebody, if you don't know what the goal is, people are a little less reluctant to get it. So you could say, okay, their goal was 4,000. If they're at 3,900, well, you're close to, you give 100.
The mentality, yeah.
If you're Bradford, you'll give 100 to them.
That's
Get them
all
at the
I was
go.
thinking, if we make the goal 4,000 and we meet it, then if they continue to send the emails and people see we got the goal, they're gonna stop giving the donation.
Well, we can roll into next year. We roll into next
Yeah,
year.
but,
We sitting on some money in the organization of my lives right now. We raised, what we did last year, we used to get our turkeys and the fixings. Last year, I was in charge of it. We decided to fix dinners. So we had raised, $3,000 in no time.
Wow.
I'm excited about this. I think we'd be.
I mean, even if just us here in the room, get 10 people and, So, those are the things that we will push out immediately.
Yes.
And, all right, so that's good. All right, the next area is, again, we talked about some of these future goal events that I have here. Those are just things that I was just throwing out, that, again, a lot of these deal with, one is funds, trying to get funds, raise money for these student scholarships. But two is to get our name out there. So whether you have fundraising events or you do some type of community service, the HBCU network, I think that's a big thing that we can really be involved with. There's a couple of chapters, or a couple of HBCUs that we've already did the community type service with, and it was about nine different HBCUs. So we're connected with the presidents of the New Jersey alumni chapters from those universities like Howard and Spelman and a couple of the other HBCUs. So I think, we can support them just as well as they can support us. And then we can have social events with them too. I think we were talking about having a cookout or something.
Yeah.
I got to talk to Bill.
Yeah, we gotta set that up.
Cute.
Yeah.
Setting something up. But I don't want anything to be just work. I want to do things that are social, just having fun and engaging with one another. We can show our Aggie pride against the other HBCUs during the HBCU event. So
that's what I'm trying to come up conceptually with something for generating membership interest as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were to do some type of sort of social event the same week or the week before we were having a chapter meeting in that region, then we've gotten people out to do something socially, and then they come out the following week, or maybe something similar to that in that, like you're saying, we're doing something in this interim period between now and when we actually start back up formal meetings in September. Are there events that we can have, even like the thing that I sent you about the jazz festival in Asbury? If it's just telling people that that's going on and we're gonna be there and we're a couple of Aggies and we encourage other Aggies to come out, then we're just socializing, networking and telling them about the meetings and things like that. And then we follow up with information about the actual meetings coming up in September once we get the regional things planned out. So I'm just trying to sort of get some ideas about how to create, like you're saying, that buzz socially, and then how that follow up into increasing membership.
Well, that would be really interesting, like, especially something like that, like if you say it's like a jazz festival, and, you know, we have our newsletter going out, just putting that out there, like, hey, you know, so maybe we need to kind of come up with a list of various things that are going on in the state, and just kind of promote them from our perspective, just saying, hey, this is an interest.
A couple of us are interested in the event, and we just decide that we're going.
Right.
Get a tent or something like that. Then we can just put the Aggie Alumni, you know, logo or whatever on it, so that people can see that when they get there, they can at least stop by and meet some of the people that are in the chapter.
Yeah, I mean, just as an example, maybe a little off topic, but last night, one of our fellow Aggies, she throws some parties, some pretty big parties in New York, and she had one last night. One of my friends from Atlanta was up for a family event, and he heard that her party. He was like, we gotta go support her. So myself and two other guys, and then I spoke to one of our members, and he's like, oh, I was trying, Travis, I was trying to get in contact with him, and he called me last night while I'm about to go into the party, and he's like, how long are you gonna be there? She's an Aggie, I'm trying to come out there, you know. So it's just that type of support and that family, you know. So it was I think that would be a great thing.
No, but those are the type of things we want to do. We want to have fun. We don't want to make it all work. Do things that are where we can network and get engaged. Once you network with people, I think it'll be easier to engage with them for support on whatever things that you're doing. So again, the regional structure will allow us to go to different regions to network and engage with people. And then when you do have some type of fundraising event, it'll be easier to support it. We have 6 regions. Even if you have 15 to 20 people that's actively involved in those regions, you know, so you got 100-something people that you can sort of count on to help support a fundraising event.
What I'm trying to sort of reconcile as well is that we're trying to look at how we can really focus on increasing membership and separately fundraising. Is that the membership is more locally based, it's specific to North Carolina A&T. Whereas fundraising, we can reach out to everybody and anybody. Because even when we have, like, if we're going to have a scholarship ball or jazz cruise or whatever, we want everybody we know to come. It doesn't have to be.
And that's my point. You got 100 people that are members. Everybody knows family and everybody else. Then it's easy to, you know, our struggles over the last 4 or 5 years was originally, I think, 4 years ago, we could get 200 people at that jazz brunch. As time went on, it started going down.
Yeah.
But that's because you only got a handful of people in the chapter that's working. So if you got hundreds of people, that's just 20 people in the region supporting an event that's maybe centralized in the state. You don't put the burden on one person to sell 100 tickets. Only Ray Fouché can do that. But and so, you know, again, the getting engaged, that's the key. Lessening the burden on one handful of people. When you spread it out, it makes it easier to have events. And you know, before we was having just one event per year. I mean, if you grow enough and network enough and connect with enough people within the state, you know, maybe you could have a few.
And you gotta remember, you got busy people here.
Well, that I'm talking about as you grow. As you grow the chapter, then there's going to be more people engaged.
Right.
Well,
the
and
vision
as, and
of
as you
further
engage
down.
and network with other organizations
Right.
as well, that gets our name out there. I mean, as a sponsor, you still get sort of the benefit of the advertising without necessarily having to do a lot of the labor.
Right. Yep. So, I mean, I think that's the goal is to grow the chapter itself, the membership. And as you grow the membership, then you'll be able to have those opportunities where you can do things that are, it's multiple things. It's increase membership, increases funding, it increases support too. Maybe we don't have to do 4 students with 1,000, maybe we can increase the amount. And then just like at our church, giving out 4,700 students. That's because there's a whole lot of people donating money to the scholarship. So that's the whole thing focuses on around increasing membership. So, which leads me into my next one, membership goal. Right now we have about 40 givers to the, I guess, those are folks from New Jersey that gives to the university and to the chapter. Those are less.
No, that's give your list to the ones who give.
Yes, the chapter is even less, so, yeah. So with 1,000 alumni in the state, everybody's busy. If you're too busy to, engage that way, then the other way you can engage is just to give a minimum $50 to the chapter, $50 to the university. Like I said before, I have, when I was in my 20s, and I said I was busy. I was busy, but I think I'm more busy now than I was back then. But my excuse back then was I was busy. But what I would do is I would give a donation. It was a guy at my job that was from A&T, an older gentleman at the time. He told me about the alumni chapter, and I would donate, to him. And so, even though I wasn't was quote unquote busy, I still supported the university with donation. And the thing is, you don't really need everybody giving thousands of dollars. You're more effective by giving the minimal over the numbers. Because like right now, I don't know, like 40-something people, I think, at least with the chapter, which is less, that's probably handling operating expenses.
I think I just gave it. You got it?
Yeah, I mean, that's that. Well, else?
$2,000, $2,000. So from July 1, 2014 through June 30, June 28, 29, we received $2,000 in dues and membership, which isn't bad,
Right.
but think about it, if we could get 10% of the people in the state, that's like 90 people,
Even if
do
you
the math
got-
on it.
if
I
you
mean,
got-
that's a very small, even got 5%.
If you got, and I'm looking at 20 over the next 2 years, that's the goal, spend is 20%, which is 200 people, to give just the minimum, If you give the minimum, we'll double the amount of any fundraiser we ever had, almost triple maybe.
This is 29, and this is the most we've ever had
Right. So
in the last 3 years.
Right. So people have been giving, I think,
It was going
as a kid, it's just getting the word out there. Yes, sir.
I just want to bring up, and I don't know if it's happened to anybody else. After I came, myself and Brother Cook, we came, we wrote our check. And I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but I got another, I get mailings from, national or from Greensboro.
From the university.
But then I also got someone calling me.
Yeah.
Who said he was a man, but he didn't want to talk about giving, he wanted to talk with me about investing.
Oh, wow.
So, but that was right after,
Really?
yeah, I had paid my money, blah, blah, blah.
What were they from?
Like a customer, like,
He said it was from a Greensboro number. So I'm just wondering, you know, what are they doing with our information once it's like, once, you know, it's verified that, you know, once you send in a check with our name on it, then they're probably saying, okay, well, they're probably, I don't want to say that they're selling information, but the information's there.
And that's why they asked us to sign that disclosure. Let me tell you what A&T does. A&T has a call center that they use students. And students, some of us in here may have gotten calls. I mean, what I explained at annual meeting was they called the givers and then asked them to also, by the way, would you like to give? But anyway, the new associate, well, the new vice chancellor for advancement was there, and he received the message from the alumni at the annual meeting that you're calling the wrong one.
Yes.
We're the ones that's giving, so you need to call the ones that are not giving. But they saw it as an opportunity, because I got the call too, and I got a little annoyed, but I didn't get annoyed with the student. I just said I'll bring it up at annual meeting, because they said, we want to call you, Mr. Walton, thank you for the gift you gave. And at this time, we also want to see if there's another gift you want to give. You know, which was a little, you know, that's a bit pushy. But call the ones who are not giving, and just, you know, I've gotten that call before, and they thanked me for my gift, but they didn't ask for another gift. Now, this is news to me, but I will talk to the vice chancellor, because that data that university has, they hoover over it and they ask you to sign this disclosure that you will not use this information. They don't just give it to anybody. They got a relationship with the Alumni Association that they'll give it to the Alumni Association. So next time someone calls you like that, try to get some information from them and find out who they are. Because people can tell you that they're Aggie and they're not really an Aggie. But we're not supposed to use that information for that purpose.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. I can't say. I mean, you said it was a 336 number, so somebody named Greensboro, so somebody got your information and wanted you to advance. But the numbers that's official from A&T is going to pop up. A&T is going to be a 336 too. It's going to say North Carolina A&T State University. But these are students that are calling, thanking you for your gift. And, you know, just be prepared for the second ask. But they may have stopped that now because so many alumni stood up at the annual meeting and said, yeah, and you've got some mailings too, so that's a good thing. But no one's supposed to be calling you for their personal gratification. So, you know, so. Thank you for your gift.
You know, and with that being said, I have a cousin of mine. Okay, she works in the alumni giving office at Central. So, you know, we talk. Actually, she's one of four. She has three brothers, and they all went to A&T.
Oh, wow.
Her mother went to Central. Her mother went to Central.
She's the distance. And just can I add one more thing too? And the you know, the outgoing board, transition board, last day is June 30th, so we just had our last board meeting. I mean, I'm not going over it. I have not chose to be on the board anymore, so I'm coming off the board. After 20 years, I've only been on the 20 years, not about that. So I'm sort of done with that for now. But the new direction is at the annual meeting, the constitutional bylaws was ratified by the body. So we now are moving to a dues and membership fee structure at the national level. So it's no longer giving that $50 to annual giving. That $50 now has to go to the Alumni Association. So they're working on it now to roll that whole dues and membership fee structure out. So again, the same concept is that you have to be a member of the National Alumni Association before you can be a member of the local chapter. So what we did here, you know, some people wrote the check for $100 when we would have to give $50 to annual giving, and then I would mail $50 on your behalf to the foundation. But now going forward, you have to write the check out to the Alumni Association, but we will do the same thing, mail it on your behalf if that's a convenience for you, but they're going to be rolling out the process that you have to send the check directly into the Alumni Association. And there's a $50 minimum, is the $50 will be the fees. There's some, you know, people were asking, could we do life memberships and all of this? So they're studying that now. The only difficulty with life membership is that unless you got continuous folks joining, which that's the idea, because you continue every year you graduate, you know,
I know
2,000 people.
We do that with our fraternity, and you organization does not benefit from.
It does not, exactly. See, that's what one of my recommendations was leave the life memberships alone and just do the annual memberships, and then discount if it's a husband and wife, or, and you gotta see a little more, well, if it's a spouse, put it that way. So if it's a spouse, then you have a reduced fee, so they're looking at it and they're gonna roll it out, but, again, my concern to them was that this is now passed, and it's a shame that we don't have something now that we can just send out, because the new fiscal year starts July 1, and then a lot of folks just haven't been educated on that, and their first assumption is, okay, let me send my money off to annual giving so I can clear that hurdle. But now, you're gonna be asked for, it's just like the fraternities, sororities, you pay your annual dues, and, not at that magnitude. I mean, we're not asking for that much, we're asking for $50.
I have a question about
Sure.
your alumni meeting.
Mhm.
Was there a discussion about the classes that we pay dues, like our class, for example, we have an annual dues,
Mhm.
and we have a meeting every homecoming at 7 o'clock, it's 2.5 hours. But we have a membership, like I can see class dues, we pay them, plus we have paid our contribution through class of 62.
Mhm.
Was there a discussion on that situation?
It was not a discussion, but I can tell you this, and this is again from my perspective, but I think this is kind of like the way it is. Class of 62 is an unusual class, it's a good class because you guys do stuff over and beyond. There are some other classes I'm finding out too, the class of 78, I think it is, something like that. They do something similar. So you guys, whatever you do as a class is totally separate from that, in that even though you're a class of 62, you guys, and you've been doing this for years.
Yes,
So I learned that when I sort of ran class reunion, you guys been doing that for 20
That's a part of the homecoming.
It is. So what you do is totally separate from the Alumni Association. You guys have just formed, and you can do that. You have a right, but you have to understand when you do that, that's just in the name of the class of 62. It's not any contribution going to annual giving. It's not going to the Alumni Association. It's just class of 62, because what you guys do at your class reunion is you do some other things, but you're covered because you paid your dues.
So the $140,000 we raised 2 years ago, it went to.
No, that went to annual giving, and it was in the name of, again, like I told folks earlier, it's the collection of your class members giving. See, when you give, like, okay, I'll just use myself example. I'm class of 91. The moment I write a check, I fall into a lot of different buckets. Okay, I live in New Jersey. I'm class of 91. See, they break all of this down after you give, but you don't have to give. I had the same issue with, same message I had to get in some of the classes. They want to designate the class of 62. Well, unless class of 62 or 63 or 91 has a scholarship set up, then your designation you can designate. But at the end of the year, when you give, you fall, whatever your characteristics are. You are class of 62, you live in New Jersey, they break it all out like that. So you can't designate unless there's a recipient somewhere to receive. So if class of 62 has set up a scholarship, then you can designate the class of 62. But technically speaking, you can't designate the 62 because there's no recipient of 62. By the mere fact that you graduated in 1962 and you're a class of 62, you're going to be in that categorization once they break the categorization down. And alumni don't get that, but we got to do a much better. I've explained this at the national level. You got to do that because I'm telling you, you got folks writing checks right now, and in the memo column they say designate the class 62. But you know what happens to that money? It goes into unrestricted. It becomes unrestricted for the university because there's no home for class of 62.
But Stephen, we started this thing about 50-some years ago.
Yes, you guys.
We thought that we were setting the standard for the whole university. I thought that other classes, we come to find out that homecoming was a party time, not a serious thing. We have serious class meetings though.
You do.
I mean,
Yes, those guys are
meetings.
serious, man. They are serious. Trust me. They're serious. And they raised money. But see, you guys have given, remember when you all got there, you had like all these little trinkets that you gave your classmates. Like this past year, they had a group, the class of 65 had these jackets, but they had already all contributed into a fund. So when they got there, they got, you got your souvenir from class reunion, but then the class of 66 65 had some other little trinkets that came from their giving that they gave to their class. So we sort of clear on that because I need help with spreading that message that unless you have an endowment set up, when you designate your giving to A&T, by the mere fact that you yourself you have several characteristics. You graduating class, they break it out by graduating class. They break it out sometime by the school in which you were affiliated with. They break it out based on the state that you live in, and they keep breaking it down. You know, so
if you don't make a designation of where you want the money to go.
if you don't designate, it goes to unrestricted. If you designate and such designation doesn't exist, it goes to unrestricted. Okay? So that's why I want to make sure that you understand that when you designate, make sure that which you're designating exists. Now your class exists, but you don't have an endowment set up. Okay? But you guys can set up an endowment. One thing about it is I think it's 25,000 is the minimum. It must start, and then you got an endowment, and then you have to make a decision whether you want the university foundation to administer it or really keep for you, or the alumni association can say keep it.
Well, you know what, I'm not sure if it's possible, but I would think it is in terms of records. I'd just like to know what our class did over 50 years. Because we were serious, about
And A&T can tell you that when, I don't know what year they started tracking data on giving. Because you remember back several years ago, the Alumni Association used to run annual giving. And I believe it was the early 2000s whenever what's the name, Hard came in and we signed our first MOU with the university, we moved out of the business of fundraising and gave that to the university. And because for a long time, the Alumni Association would do annual giving. And all the checks would come into the Alumni Association, they would cut one big check to the university. And I think that may have been in the early 2000s, late 90s or something. So A&T really didn't start having annual givings to maybe 20 years ago. So that's where the tracking started. So prior to that, you know, the Alumni Association did that. And I know the Alumni Association don't have those records.
I want to share something about you and Cliff over the summer.
Okay.
Something I wrote about 50 some years ago. And it's amazing how over the years, most folks don't know how to be alumni, very frankly. It had to be taught.
I agree.
It had to be taught, it had to be payments, etc. And this thing I did when I organized the bank in Pittsburgh, very simple situation. And that's why I want to sit with you. And I've talked to Claudette about it. Okay. And it's so unique. And I keep thinking, I said, why hadn't somebody thought of it? I did it 50 years ago.
Actually, I think I think this new integrated model structure is included in part in there that engages with the students that are currently at A&T, teaching them how to become an alumni. They get them engaged now.
Yeah.
The only time when I learned about being an alumni is at the graduation ceremony when they told us you are now a graduate and
you're an alumni.
Right, you're an alumni. And
Start with their students.
So
You gotta start with their students.
that's what the
They
school
call
structure is.
certain habits
Right.
they learn, freshman, sophomore,
Yep.
junior. By the time they get senior going out, they got so much debt, they can't help themselves.
They can't
and they
help
don't help nobody
nobody
else.
else.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
But no, you're right on. And you need to know, they have a student alumni association on campus now, headed up by the Office
that's
of
why
Alumni Relations.
that's why I need to talk to them.
Yeah, well, I want to put you in direct contact with the executive director because she's spearheading that whole piece where they have a student alumni association. Yeah, and they have representation on the board too.
So that's, I thought that was a pretty good plan. It's a good structure, is that now you're gonna start teaching students
How to be.
how to be alumni. When they graduate, they'll already know about all of the chapters that are out there in the country. So, that's a positive. All right, I think we're toward the end of the agenda. And like I said, I was just really wanted to reiterate on the importance of just a minimal fee to the chapter and then also to the university. You really don't realize how a small donation, it's more of an impact than just a handful of people giving large, amounts. And that's the key, is building up the membership, increasing the support financially. If you can't get engaged and help out physically, then please, we'll request that people get engaged, at least from a financial standpoint. And it's really, most of our money is going to be used toward giving out scholarships. It's not, our operating funds is not that great, especially with technology. Marvin's going to send out some postcards that may cost us a few pennies. But, our operating expenses aren't that great, and so most of the money that we get is going to go toward giving out scholarships. And if we can give out scholarships to students in New Jersey, maybe we could give out more than 1,000. Maybe to help encourage some of the students to go to A&T versus going to another university. So that's the point that we got to get to.
If our treasurer is $25,000, then I'm sure we wouldn't be opposed to it. 2 at 2, 4 at $2,000.
Right.
If the treasury can support it, then we can do it.
That's it. And again, make an announcement that the chapter does have a PayPal account, make it convenient for you to donate those out there online.
You can pay your dues if you
can
want.
pay dues, you can pay, even to the university. Now, what about to the university? Can we do that?
Well,
Or should they just go to the university?
well, with this whole new dues and membership fee structure they have to roll out, I think we have to do a wait and see on it. I mean, because again, we can send off on that. The only downside to PayPal is that fee that's on there.
Mhm.
And normally when we do it, we would have to eat the fee. So, someone pay, even like they pay the chapter dues there, that particular type thing, we definitely want them to, that's a convenience fee you gotta pay.
Yeah, for them to
Really
pay.
eat it. And that means then we have to upper our fee to be whatever that.
But I mean,
Doesn't
if they
PayPal
don't
adjust the cart though, like if you make a purchase and you live in, say, a state that charges taxes, you see the advertised prices such that whatever it is, whatever you're buying, but then when you go to check out, it shows the additional fee for whatever that tax is. Don't they adjust for it in the cart on the
That's for tax, but not the PayPal fee.
So PayPal fee would
Right.
be.
Yeah.
It doesn't show like that.
Right.
Okay.
And
We were
so,
pretty fortunate, because when you paid yours, you didn't get taxes added, did you?
no, but I added the
You added the
fee.
fee in, so
Yeah,
you know, at the end of the day, it was $100.
Yeah, well, I made a little more. I made it like 103.
103 if you
Yeah.
cover the fee.
Okay. But,
So we're not selling any commodities,
Right.
so if we were selling commodities, then for a different story, we won't get the taxes on it, but with these dues, and that's why I think we got to make sure with the nonprofit categorization on our PayPal.
Right.
And if you don't, I can give you the documents we need to see, because I did the same thing for the national.
Okay. And I just as a point of clarification, if people are paying online, do you want to accept the national fees as well? So like give someone an option to pay 50 and then also give them the option to pay 100 and the money be sent. That's because I know you'll do it.
I know, I just say at this point, I think we have to wait to see what the National Alumni Association do, because they have a PayPal account too.
Right.
So they may choose that, open that up to the membership to do that. I think our mission should be to push our.
Just our dues on
and make
online.
mention thereof.
Okay.
That,
In order to be in an alumni, you have to have given.
That's my suggestion.
Okay.
Because-
That's like being recognized locally, but not nationally.
Yeah, it is, but
That's how we don't play it in our.
But I think that if you go to
You're not
alumni,
recognized nationally, you're not.
yeah, I mean, that's the concept you have, that, and then what we have to do, the good thing about, I'm hoping that once they put the model in place, that it's,
Sales.
I mean, it's easy and it segues in and say, okay, well, if you're in this area, then here's a link to that chapter too, if you want to go to their website and pay their dues.
Right, and then you would hope that people were in the mind frame, if they're giving, then they're in the mind frame to understand the purpose and, I hate to use the term, with the minimal amount expected.
That's where it gets
Well-
to be a little tricky.
It gets a little tricky because then you always say, okay, you have to give 50 to nationals, 50 to your local, and then they also want you to make a contribution to annual giving. Okay, so bear that piece in mind.
Yeah. Okay.
So for now, I will just do 50.
Right now, I just say concentrate on the local, you know, but when we have our meetings, if folks want to do it, I'd be happy to mail it off on their behalf.
Okay.
But to me, again, where am I mailing it? Because the National Alumni Association hasn't really rolled out the
Right.
process.
Right.
You know, so
Oh,
they haven't rolled the process
that's
out.
something new fiscal year.
New fiscal year is in a couple of days, you know, so I don't want to be behind the 8 ball on that because it's truly not giving, you know, to annual giving and to be designated as an a member of the Alumni Association, National Alumni Association. So I'll try to get Rosetta on the horn this week to say, hey, by the way, you know, at our chapter meeting, we talked about this. You know, we got to put things in place. I'll be.
All right, the last thing was just the social media. Gerald has quite a few areas that he put our info out there on. It's, I guess we're on Twitter, Facebook.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you know, and everything is NJ Aggie Alumni. The website is njaggiealumni.org. Everything, just type in NJ Aggie Alumni and everything should come up in any platform. Email, same thing. njaggiealumni@gmail.
I have one of the things, it's kind of somewhat social media related, but do we have a list of the engineers or the students that are graduating this year from New Jersey? Because our company is looking to hire some like planners, engineers. And is there a way that we can kind of get a list of those folks and maybe get them
I
to
can
send their
try to
applications?
touch base with the engineer.
Okay.
So you just necessarily go through the careers office or whatever?
Well, I mean, our company, it's a small company, they're not gonna do a big recruitment to actually go down there to recruit folks, but if we know, and if you guys know engineers that are coming back to Jersey that are gonna be looking for jobs, there's about 12 on our website now. They're not all engineering, some of them are planning positions, some of them are, definitely like engineers, transportation management. There's an admin assistant there as well.
I guess the career service probably would be the good place to, because they know the students that.
Well, I think if students register, that still sounds like we might still need to be involved with the schools.
Right.
But still, I don't see why they wouldn't be registered if they're planning to graduate.
Yes, yeah, I think things may have changed now. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
if they
think
make
so.
it mandatory for them or what. That may make them, but I mean, what I'm hearing her say is that her company is not, if you're expecting her company to go and connect to A&T's career centers, it probably won't happen. But there's a direct connecting to the company if we know people are coming back, so.
That's,
I mean, I
that's
think
what
that's-
I
I think that's awesome.
I think that's great.
Mention.
I mean,
Yeah.
amongst ourselves, do we know engineers
Yes,
from New Jersey that are gonna be coming back home to, or what?
Nurse.
I don't know any myself, but
Okay.
again,
Just put it
I
out
can try
there.
to touch base with the dean.
But you're an engineer.
With her, yeah.
Oh, you come on, man. Say, hey, look, we got some jobs in Jersey. Anybody there want to know?
Okay.
This is just money.
Yeah, that's just some
Some
money.
money.
'Cause I know they got to pay them student loan thing.
Okay, it's about 5 minutes up, so,
We can wrap this
I think on that note, if anybody have any comments, questions, concerns? Open it up for everyone.
I don't know. I know I saw the executive committee emails. I didn't see anything else regarding the general body.
My connection this summer, over the summer, is connecting with the executive committee, which includes the officers, the regional reps, but also the people that are on the planning and development committee and the membership committee. Because I think that we're all entwined into this planning.
So with that being said, are you giving us the duty of communicating and letting folks know information like, i.e. today's meeting.
Yeah, but see, I don't know if you got Rob, were you on Rob?
Yeah, I was getting all
to
the
everybody.
yeah.
Yours
Yeah.
was the whole blast to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, announcement of the meeting. was
Yeah,
everybody.
to everybody.
Okay, yeah,
So maybe, were you on it?
I think so.
Because there's the one that came from Rob, and that's what we got.
You're on the executive one.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
So I don't think, you should be getting both. Yeah. So it may be a little confusing, but just look at the distribution list. And then Joe, you're doing something too, aren't you?
I'm about to send out a newsletter,
It's like your
and that's
passport
going to
taken, though. I think
replace.
we're communicating to both groups.
Right.
It's just when you see his, it's
Right, but
narrowed down to
my
the.
point
to the executive.
also is now that we have area regions,
Mhm.
you want those area region heads to start doing some work as well.
Yes.
That's what I'll be doing over the summer, connecting
Okay.
with everyone, the regional reps, and trying to plan out at least which regions. I think the majority of us on the executive committee are up in this area. So I think starting in September, I want to start out as far south as we can, maybe region 6, and work our way back north by the winter time. So it's less travel, during the winter months for at least the ones that are in this region, since most of us are in this region. I wouldn't want us to be traveling down to Region 6 in the middle of the winter. So, but those are the things that we need to discuss during the executive meeting, so.
Did you want me to mention just the NJ pack?
What?
The NJ pack.
Oh, yeah.
I remember it. I'm working on us getting a meeting at some point at NJ pack. Yeah. So I think that's a place that's kind of central. Everybody knows
Have
that.
an MC?
Huh?
Nick Cannon gonna be MC?
No, we couldn't afford him. We gotta try to give out scholarships, so we can't. But yeah, go ahead.
So can I say this? So it sounds like to me then, what you're saying to the body is, so no meeting in July, no meeting in August, but the executive committee is going to be very, very active. And this young lady has made the recommendation, which I think we heard, I know I heard, that we should maybe consider during that time frame, some social activities across the regions that we still got stuff going on, but the executive committee is truly sort of like spearheading the business of the Alumni Association. But then we're going to come back in September, where shortly, sometime in August, announcing what our plans are for the next 4 months from a meeting perspective.
And I guess, well, anything that you guys have that, for social events, like, matter of fact, I'll take the email that I got from you on the
I already pulled it up.
You already got it? Whatever we get, you could just stream it out. through our
Yeah.
social media. So.
What I'm gonna try to do is just find some specific events, kind of like that type of thing, and just say, hey, and maybe make an evite,
Yeah.
just to, or like a Facebook, whatever, just some kind of evite to say, hey, this is going on. Let's just see who responds. We're gonna go. There's gonna be a group, right?
Yes,
The planning, that's why the planning committee is gonna be a part of this too, and membership, because whatever we're doing in the summer, if somebody says, hey, why don't we do this, we'll blast it out.
Right.
Social, media. So, yes, sir.
I have two quick informational pieces. I had an oversized card I bought for you guys to sign, I forgot about it, for Al Allis. Yeah, Al was class of '60, and those of you who follow sports, that the Warriors have not won the regional since Al was coaching 40 years ago.
What?
NBA.
He said regional.
NBA championship. But anyway, I chatted with him just before, I guess the day after they won, and I got his big cards for all you guys to sign, because his number was retired at the NT, and I was planning to make that, but I could not make a lot of other things going on. That's the first thing. He lives right around the corner from my daughter in San Francisco. But the second thing, the new chancellor at UNC at Greece, there was a brother from UCLA.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I got these credentials, fantastic credentials. But his brother-in-law is in our men's fellowship at First Baptist. Mike member.
So you got connection.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I read about it, I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. First of all, I couldn't believe it.
You know what happened?
Black man, I couldn't believe it. I can't believe
That was a giant leap, believe me.
that blew my
And-
hair back for a little bit. I can't-
And just as a, say hello to all the people out.
Hello out there, online. Thanks for joining in.
We did get some viewers.
Okay, the meeting is officially adjourned.
Oh, for sure.
Good to see you.
Okay, good to be seen.
Someone